the last 3 months, because of COVID-19, schools have been shut. I hope that these materials that we present today will be beneficial to students in their final year of secondary or high school.
Hello, welcome to this e-learning platform. In today's lesson, we are going to look at the third conditional, or what we call type 3 conditional. In our last class, we looked at conditional 2. We started with the conditional 1, 2. Now we're looking at the conditional 3. And remember, we say conditional expressions are expressions that contain an if clause. So let's look at what the conditional type 3 actually is. What is it used for? The conditional type 3 is used to talk about impossible conditions in the past. So in this type of conditional, we are talking about actions that could not take place in the past, that were impossible in the past. So that is what we use the conditional type 3 for. Now, let's have this example. If it had rained, you would have gotten wet. If it had rained, you would have gotten wet. This example is in the conditional type 3. And there you find two clauses, the if clause written in the past perfect, and then the result clause, which is written in the present perfect tense with a modal auxiliary. So you can see from the example that after the if clause, you have a comma between the if clause and the result clause, and that is similar to what we saw in conditional 1 and conditional 2. Whenever you start with the if clause, you have a comma. That is it. So if it had rained, you would have gotten wet. And we say the third conditional is used to talk about impossible condition in the past. So from this we get the meaning that it couldn't rain. So it didn't rain in the past. So it was impossible to rain in the past. So that is a perfect use of the conditional type 3. And here we've started with the if clause, and you have a comma before the result clause. You can also write it in this way. You would have gotten wet if it had rained. So if you change the order, you begin with the result before the if clause, you find that there is no comma between the two clauses. That is why here you have, you would have gotten wet if it had rained. The order has been changed. You've started with the result and then you ended it with the if clause. Then here, there is no comma separating the two clauses. Now, from the example we have, you can see a clear structure of the conditional type 3. There is if clause, and that if clause is written in the past perfect. That is why in the structure you have if plus the past perfect plus a modal auxiliary that can be would, could, should, might, or ought to. All these are modal auxiliaries you can use before the result clause. So you're going to have if plus past perfect plus the modal auxiliary plus the present perfect. So in this example, we have used if plus past perfect plus the modal auxiliary would in our first example. That is where you have if it had rained, you would. We have used would and have gotten, that is the past, the present perfect form of the verb get. So you can write it in two ways, but you follow the structure. Whatever structure you use, then you are going to start with the if clause, and then you put the past perfect for following the if clause. Then the result should be in the present perfect. Before then, you have would, could, should, or any modal auxiliary. So let's look at these revision questions. These are questions that come in final year's exam. So you have to get the clue about how you answer the question. So here I'm going to give you the clue, and what you do is simply understand which type of conditional is involved in the question. So you are definitely going to find a part of the question written, then you complete the second part. So here you have this question. You would have passed your exam if you dash harder. You would have passed your exam if you dash harder. Here you have would, which is a modal auxiliary, and have passed, that is the present perfect. So by merely saying that, you can guess that it is conditional type 3 because you have would and the present perfect, and it is the only conditional type that has this structure. So with this structure, you are going to complete it following the complete structure of the past, the conditional type 3, and that is going to be completed in the past perfect. Remember, in conditional type 3, we said you have the past perfect and the present perfect with a modal auxiliary verb. So here you're going to take option B, which is had worked, that is the past perfect, because already in the first clause you have the present perfect, which is would have passed. Then you complete it with the past perfect. You had worked harder. You're going to do that with this second question. This is another question in which a part is given and you have to complete the second part. If you hadn't lied to me before, I dashed believed you. A would, B could, C would have, and D couldn't. So you are going to study the question the way we did with the first example and find out which part is missing, then get the missing part among the options, and then complete the exercise. Keep watching our video. Goodbye.